We all naturally want to become successful. We also want to take shortcuts. It's the easiest thing to do, but you can never take away the effort of hard work and discipline and sacrifice. Apolo Ohno. My friends, the discipline, the sacrifice, the work, for us, I'm just asking 10 to 15 minutes, but it has to be each and every day so you can follow these markets and these trends. Hope you guys appreciated the President's Day gift we gave you on the holiday yesterday. We showed you how to set up what we call the 3 time frame chart. Actually, we are able to track on this chart. You've been seeing it lately when I have been doing the charting cryptos and commodities. Comes out on Wednesdays for our Patreon members, everybody else on Friday. But as you look at this chart, you can see a lot of the magic that goes on here. It allows you to watch trends as they start developing on the half day. And you notice this line, this dotted vertical line, you notice how it moves on all 3 charts. It moves fast on the bottom chart, slower on the middle chart, and even slower on the top chart. That's because the 195-minute chart's on the bottom, the 2-day chart is in the middle, and the weekly chart is on top. And what we're able to see here over and over again is when trends top and when they move down, and when they move back up, and when they move down. And you can see it over and over and over. And I am finding, tying in both the volume that we have here as well as being able to see our Heikin Ashi candlesticks and utilize, of course, our trend lines. And I originally, when I started using this chart, I was using a separate trend line on the half day, the 2-day, and the weekly. I was setting their own trend lines, and I learned that the main one, because on this chart, we are trading off the weekly. The nice thing about the weekly is it's the biggest trend with the most money available, of course, because it moves in a much bigger wave with a lot more money there. So, and it's less likely to so many of those fluctuations. I mean, look how clean this is. You will occasionally see it go green and then back to red, but there's a lot of warning signs in there with spinning tops and other things going on. But you can clearly see with these Heikin Ashi candlesticks when things bottom out, then when they top out, when they roll over. And of course, at the same time, you're not just looking at one weekly candle to the next weekly candle. You're also watching as things happen on the 2-day and the weekly. And so let's jump into this chart today and talk about what we saw coming into the big down day we had, as a down day on everything in the market, Bitcoin included. Big down days, of course, on stocks and bonds, not so much in gold, it was down, not so much in Bitcoin. But what we saw, and I talked about to you as we were going into the beginning of this shortened trading week, we saw, and I mentioned this time and time again to you, I said, look, we're not having as high highs as we go through, it was these last 3 weeks. And I said, the candles are shortening too. And on this last candle, you even had a bottom wick. Now, as you watched the volume, you could see the volume peaked when it reached its highest high. And then that volume started to dissipate. You can also track what occurred on the 2-day chart. Again, that's where things peaked on the Wednesday, Thursday chart, the 1st and the 2nd of February. You saw where volume really skyrocketed there. And then what happened after that? The volume stayed about average, but you started having weaker and weaker and weaker candles. Then, of course, setting up for the super weak candle that you saw on Wednesday, Thursday, the 15th and 16th. And then, of course, what happens? Well, you see this latest candle going into Friday, Tuesday, and of course the big down day that shouldn't surprise you at all. And look what happens to the volume. It jacks up. And again, showing you that this volume stayed high, just about as high not quite as high as the peak, but as high as, that second candle after it. It stayed there, meaning that people were selling out their positions as fast as people were buying them, the dummies thinking that the price was going to go higher. The smart people, the insiders, selling, knowing they were going to drive it down, which is exactly what happened. Not a surprise coming into Tuesday after the holiday, the president's holiday. So again, this is the kind of stuff you can see on this chart. You can again see where things topped. It happened on Thursday morning. That is where we had that past high. Also Thursday afternoon. It's hard. Well, I'm going to have to bring this. Actually, it was Thursday afternoon. Happened on Thursday afternoon. And then after that, things started moving down. And of course, when did it fly through the weekly trend line? That was Friday afternoon, Friday morning, and then further Friday afternoon. And then, of course, the big down move on Monday. How long do you think this will go on? Do you think it'll just pop right back up? Even with this high volume here, don't think it's going to be popping back up. Could be surprised, but I doubt it. Look at that red down candle. No wick on top, wick on the bottom. Now, could it bounce off this 30-period moving average? That's possible. It could do that. Is it going to do it? I find it's probably going to be doubtful. It may move down further below it and peak out there and then move back up, but we'll see as we move along. But that's sort of what I wanted you to get from these new charts as we start looking at them. So you're not having to wait on a lagging indicator like the STC. As much as I love it, it is a lagging indicator nonetheless. You can watch the moves as they are occurring, perhaps help you get into them sooner and see stronger moves rather than being faked out by weaker moves on smaller charts. So let's look at where things are on the Qs. Very similar to the setup, not as strong a down move on the Qs. Just today moving through that on the 2-day chart, moving through the the weekly trend line. I don't know where I was coming up with 200 something, but moving through the weekly trend line, you can see where again on Friday morning, the half-day chart had moved through it. So no surprise there. Also high volume on both the, you can see in the morning, average volume, high volume on this 2-day candle moving into this, which is of course representing Friday and Monday. So again, we'll continue to track, see where that goes. What about bonds? Well, bonds, I've been in this bond trade for a while since it moved over. And of course, you can see on bonds where they moved up to this moving average line. And what did they do? This is the 30 EMA. So sometimes I'll say the 30 day. It's not 30 day, it's 30 period. So it's the 30 week on this chart. And I don't have it on the other charts. We're just tracking it on the weekly. But you can see where, again, it bumped up on this, moved down, bumped up on it again, and now moved down again. We'll see just how much lower it continues to move. We can reset this a little bit now that we've got another candle to be able to chart that off of. But we can see price movement well below the weekly trend line on the 2-day chart, well below the weekly trend line on the half-day chart. So moving in the right direction, down 1.97%. I jumped into this trade back when it started moving down and found a jumping in point. Let's look at what's up with gold. Gold, you can see, again, gold down for the day. Not as much, 0.36%, but look at this. You can see high volume with basically a doji. That means lots and lots of indecision, lots of price movement up, lots of price movement down. What happened though? When you see high volume like this and it's a healthy move, what do you expect? Well, you expect to see a decent sized candle. Now up or down. What do you have here? Well, you have high negative volume, But of course, and it's only negative because the candle turned negative. I do have this set to where it does color the volume based upon the prior close and price on the new period related to that prior close. But again, you see lots and lots of volume, which again means the insiders realize we've already hit the peak here or here, and we're just going to sell this out and get ourselves out of it, which is exactly what they did. And then, of course, price then, of course, subsequently moved over and has been heading down ever since. So volume can really help you understand what's going on. Healthy volume should be low when there's not a lot in price movement and should gin up as you see bigger candles. But again, when you have smaller candles and higher volume than you've seen on larger candles previously or the same, it's telling you we're either getting to a top or we're getting to a bottom. We have some anomaly. Maybe it's not telling you that precisely what's going to happen in the future, but it's telling you something's not right, which should put the hair up on the back of your neck and make you pay attention. So again, we see bonds moving down in the right direction. You can see it on all these charts. I would like feedback from you guys as to what you think about using this 3-period chart. If you don't have it yet, just look on our YouTube channel for yesterday, or check your emails if you're signed up for our daily reviews. I sent out how to set this up. Very simple. I'd like you to learn to set the charts up yourself so that you can monkey around with them and change them as you see fit. You don't have to use anything that I do. If you're like standard candlesticks, use them. If you don't like trend lines, don't use them. If you want to use some other exponential moving average or a simple moving average, do it. Do whatever you like. That is totally up to you. If you don't like volume, you want to set it some other way, give that a try. But being able to see multiple time frames at the same time and track them literally being able to look from one chart to another and see where price is, that's just beautiful. See what the candles are showing you all the way along with the volume. That's so important. Let's look at where things are on Bitcoin. Where is Bitcoin? Well, it was down a little bit for the day, 0.75%. We can see where it again moved up, pushed through the 30-period EMA, and again is still topping out at about the same place that it has for what? 3 weeks now? Well, it topped out back 3 weeks ago, and then the week after that, it lost some, then popped back up again last week and is about there this week. And again, you can look at where these things are trying to move, and again, it's Bitcoin still trying to find its way out. We are waiting to see how everything is going to reset on that and get some good feel for it. So we're continuing to watch Bitcoin, also doing things like taking a close eye as we move along on the 24-hour-a-day Bitcoin chart. That's BTCUSD. That's the Bitcoin to the dollar, and that is charted 24/7. And again, you can watch that price as it moves around. Doesn't help so much with the half-day chart because we have the half-day chart set up to literally market hours. This is a 24-hour-a-day chart. So again, you could reset that to a 2 or 3 hour chart maybe, just again to give you a smaller chart to be able to track along with the 2-day and the weekly. That's where we are as we start this shortened week after President's Day. I hope you like looking occasionally at this chart. We may, in the near future, switch over to this. I just want some feedback from you. So if you're a big friend of the channel, you tune into us every day, let me know what you think. If this is just confusing to you and not helpful, remember, I do all this for you. It's my gift. I don't charge for this. We appreciate the Patreon supporters that appreciate what we do. and help us pay for some of the costs related to the channel. But I'm here to figure out what I can do best to help you see price movement. This is not complicated stuff, but you have to keep it simple. You do have to pay attention, because if you're not paying attention, the market will take every penny you have and more. But all we're really doing is trying to make the best decision we can if price is going up or down. That's it. It's a binary decision, 0 or 1, yes or no. Do I get in? Do I get out? And again, the more we can do to find accurate ways to watch price develop and move, the better off we're going to be. And that's why we're here. God bless, my friends. All the best from the whole team at Charting Wealth World Headquarters.